What's up guys, Game Fifi and Roll Games here, and once again it's Saturday and it's time for another Drum Script Saturday. And I apologize if this video is up later than usual on a Saturday, but yeah, the Game Fiend life took over and I was very busy with things, but I'm happy to still get this up on Saturday. Anyway, today's topic, well besides wrestling, is John Cena. Is John Cena the most pushed WWE superstar in wrestling history? And I've given it some thought, and in my opinion, I'm gonna go say yes. Because if you look back at the mid 80s, it was Ric Flair. You go to the 90s, it was a mix between, well, the early 90s to mid 90s, it was a mix between Flair was wrestling. First of all, Flair was wrestling everywhere around the US in the 80s. And then you get to the mid 80s to the mid 90s, you have Flair and Hogan. So their share of spotlight, especially in WCW. You get to the later part of the 90s, in WCW, it was, you had Flair again, and you had a lot of Hogan. Then they started giving Sting big pushes. In the early 2000s, where WCW started to die out and WWE was getting bigger, meanwhile Hulk Hogan was hopping back and forth between WCW and WWE. In the mid to late 90s in WWE, well back it was called WWF, you had Bret Hart, who then passed the torch to Shawn Michaels. Then here's where things got interesting. In the late 90s to early 2000s, we had the luxury of having 3 big main stars, which was Stone Cold, The Rock, and Triple H. And at the end of the mid 2000s, we had Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle was in a lot of big matches, and he was a Triple Crown champion. So I can't deny Kurt Angle's spotlight in WWE, WWF. So we had 4. Then on 2005, 2006, it's been John Cena. It's been, ever since the end of 2005, going into the beginning of 2006, nothing but John Cena. Yes, we did have the CM Punk, who is WWE champion for 434 days. But yet, in some of those title reigns, WWE still managed to push him back, and John Cena was getting main events. Now, I understand why John Cena gets all the spotlight. I understand why John Cena gets all the main events. I understand why John Cena gets all the title shots. I understand why John Cena gets all the championships. Because he creates crowd reaction. Whether you fail to admit it or not, you are a John Cena mark in one way or another. Want to know why? Because John Cena always, no matter what he does, good or bad, good matches, bad matches, bad promos, good promos, he always gets a reaction out of the WWE universe, and that is the one important thing that you must have in this industry. You must create some type of form of crowd reaction, whether it be good or bad. Better than blank. How many superstars you know that wasn't able to create some type of crowd reaction are still around today, or that had lengthy careers? 0. So whether you like to admit it or not, you mark for John Cena. Whether it be booing him, saying Cena sucks, or you're cheering for him as a fan. But is John Cena the most pushed superstar? I'm gonna have to say yes. I mean, I remember the times of Hogan, both Hogan in WCW and in WWF. And I can't remember a time that a wrestler was pushed to this maximum altitude. Like, I understand Hulk Hogan had a spotlight, but to the terms of John Cena, no. I mean, the man is coming back 2 months early and is already getting a world heavyweight title shot at Hell in a Cell versus Alberto Del Rio. Now, whether they're going to give it to him right out the gate, I don't know. But I do respect the fact that they're not throwing Cena in the WWE title. So they're not squashing Daniel Bryan. They're actually letting Daniel Bryan live, which is good, because if WWE wanted to squash Daniel Bryan, they would have just threw Cena in the WWE title and made it a triple threat and have Cena win, or make some triple threat Hell in a Cell match and have Cena win. Well, we don't even know the outcome of Hell in a Cell because it didn't get here yet, but probably have Cena win, and then that'll be it. That'll be the end of Daniel Bryan for a while. And well, Randy Orton is Randy Orton. He could always be back at the #1 spot at any given time because he's Randy Orton and he's been there for a while and he's Randy Orton. I mean, look, we thought he was never going to get another title opportunity because he had 2 strikes and they give this man the Money in the Bank. So my question is to you is, do you think that John Cena is the most pushed wrestler of all time? I mean, he's main evented the past 2 WrestleManias in the same match. Excuse me for 1 second. I apologize for doing that. But yeah, he's WrestleMania the past 2 WrestleManias. Both against The Rock. One of them put the title on the line because I guess to feel that the match was more important, the title had to be on the line. The match was, I'm gonna say the Rock and Cena match from 2012 was better than the match in 2013. That's my thoughts on that. Cena has better matches, but it seems the chemistry between The Rock and Cena just isn't good. I mean, facts are facts. The chemistry between those two isn't good. I don't know if it has to do with outside of the WWE, they don't care for one another, but the chemistry between those two just isn't well. Well, as you see, the chemistry with CM Punk and John Cena is very well. Can you name me a bad Cena Punk match? No, you can't. And I dare you to try. Find me a bad John Cena versus CM Punk match. You honestly can't. Even that match when he was Cena put up against his #1 title shot against CM Punk and CM Punk lost, that was still a good match. Back in 2011 where CM Punk was with the Nexus and CM Punk said he doesn't want Nexus at the ring. He just wanted Cena. That was a good match. Cena can put on good matches. Look at the matches back for all those people that say Cena can't wrestle. Look at all the John Cena versus CM Punk matches. Those are all good matches. Look at the 2010, I believe, 2010 or 2009 UK Shawn Michaels versus John Cena match, which I believe that was an hour. Look at that match. Tell me it was bad. WrestleMania 20, I believe. 20 or 21. The one where it was Triple H and he made Triple H tap out to the STFU. That's what it was called at the time. Not John Cena's best match, but wasn't a bad match. And that's when we could probably see Cena taking over, because Hunter likes to bury people. And the fact that Hunter allowed the story to go down as him tapping out to John Cena, yeah, that kind of has to make you throw your line. But yeah, Cena is pushed. Cena is heavily shoved down our throats. He's the first wrestler in a while that I can remember that gets a 5-second camera time on his main entrance when he comes to the ring. The man even gets camera time on his entrance. What wrestler can you name that got camera time to say whatever he wanted while on his way to the ring, look in the main camera and say whatever came out of his mind at the time? I can't think of any. But yeah, like I said, I understand why Cena is number one. Just because I understand it doesn't mean I don't like it. I mean, just because I understand it doesn't mean I have to like it. I personally think that Cena would, in the past, well, wow, it's 2013. So in the past 9 years, I feel that he was shoved down our throats a little bit too much. But then again, I understand why it was. Like I said, because he gets reaction, he sells merchandise, he's a man that you could always count on, and he does things for the business, like the Make-A-Wish program. Cena has made the most wishes for the company. Would Hogan do stuff like that? No, because Hogan's not that type of person. Like, Hogan wanted to win the Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan match at SummerSlam. And Shawn Michaels made him look like an idiot in that match. Hogan wanted to win the Rock versus Hogan match at WrestleMania. But Vince was like, no, and The Rock wanted up winning that match. And the messed up thing about that is that's when The Rock was at his highest, and he decided to pursue other things. I can't get mad at the man for making more money, but a lot of fans are still hurt by it. Because now Dwayne Johnson, because who comes back once a year isn't The Rock anymore. Let's get one thing straight. It's Dwayne Johnson. The Rock is a full-time, 24/7, 365 a year character. When he left and started doing action movies, was once again, I can't hate the man for making more money, but when he comes back, he's just not the same. And yes, I know how this is diverted to talking about The Rock, but stay with me for a second. I'll go back to John Cena. He's not the same. It's just Dwayne Johnson trying to be The Rock. And yes, he does still have it in the ring. Yes, he still can perform, but his charismatic level has dropped completely. But going back to John Cena. Yes, I feel that John Cena is the most pushed WWE superstar in the past 20 years of the business as a whole. You could say AJ Styles and TNA, but TNA doesn't hold a candle to what WWE does. It seems like the 10 years, 11 years now. Well, yeah, 11 years. We passed Slammiversary. The 11 years now that TNA has been in the business, they're still trying to play catch up with WWE, by still doing rehashes of rehashes, and plus taking the whole WWE's talent and then giving them a title. I give Ethan 30 days, he'll have a title. And if you don't know who Ethan is, it's Derek Bateman, who I was a fan of in NXT, and to be honest, I'm upset that he never made it to the main roster. But feel free to leave your thoughts and opinions below who you think was the most pushed superstar of all time while your history of watching wrestling. I've been watching televised wrestling ever since 1995, and it started off at WCW. And if you want to ask me a question, the way to do that is in the description box below. Please follow me on Twitter, which is Twitter/game_fiend. Follow me on Facebook. Well, like me on Facebook, which is Fiend of All Games. And leave a comment. And if you like what you witnessed, remember you always witness a wrestling topic show, Drama Script Saturday, every Saturday on Saturday. And subscribe for more. I'm Game Fiend of All Games. And I'm out here, guys. Later. Peace.